Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you for joining in. Very pleased about that. And, well, what am I going to do? What do I want to do? As the title probably tells you, I want to practice for an exam. To be frank with you, an exam that I will have tomorrow. It's my art exam, and it's a practical exam. So I don't have to write all too much, I just have to write a conclusion and that's about it. But the main thing is painting. The main thing is I have to paint. And with this video, I want to document the process of me sort of practicing for it, because you have nothing that you have to learn specifically for a practical exam. That's why I wanted to do this today, to show you how you can still sort of practice a little bit, because I will be planning out what I'm going to do. Tomorrow we will get a text excerpt from which we will have to choose any unspecific line or text passage that sort of speaks to us, and we just have to transfer it into a picture or into painting and express more emotions, more feelings, just more by the way or with the way we paint. And that's pretty much the exam. And I chose to just randomly go through this book, and I just randomly went through this, like here, stopped randomly somewhere and took a passage and did pretty much the planning process and the painting and thus the conclusion for this passage. That's what this is. So if you're interested in this, how to randomly sort of paint something, how to get inspiration, this is also like, you just go through a book, read passage and get your own things into it, and then just paint it, which is, you can always do that if you're out of inspiration for something or for some sort of reason. So, have fun. Cool. For the book, I decided to go for this one. It's one from my book collection, and I pretty much just randomly ran through the pages and stopped right in the middle, or, well, not right in the middle, but somewhere, and just sort of skimmed through the text for a suitable passage that I would have ideas to sort of imply certain emotions with. And then I went on with the planning process and wrote the entire passage down to just sort of settle for it and get the first ideas while writing it down. And already in the next step, I started sketching, which, well, in the exam I wouldn't do that, because first of all you would have to do a mind map and collect your ideas, which I will do, but I sort of just started sketching for some weird reason. I don't know. However, I started sketching, and at the beginning I already had a certain picture idea in my head, where there's a boat and it's heading towards this island, which is sort of in the mist. And, well, you will see my idea develop throughout this planning process, which is the gist of it. So that's quite cool. So right now I'm going ahead and gluing this page into my actual art journal, if you will. It's a notebook, like with note pages. How's it called in English? I don't fucking know. However, this is my art journal for school, because I don't have a blank paged one. So just go ahead and rip this out and stick this into it. Well, After I stuck the page into my art journal, I started playing around with color schemes. These colors were inspired from the cover of the book, which you see on the right side of this picture, but I also shown it to you in the beginning. And those are very sheer, transparent colors, or the colors are very applied in a transparent manner. And this is something I want to go for, and well, as a general idea. And then I actually went ahead and did the mind map. Well, as I said, normally we would have done this in the beginning to collect our ideas for the sketch, but for some odd reason I'm doing this now. Don't ask me, I have no idea. However, I just collected some ideas I had for this text passage, and well, I transformed it, or I used them for the sketch that I refined. And this is the composition I came up with for this picture. And in comparison to the first sketch I did, it's a little bit more refined, I would say. There are a little bit more detailed aspects to it, and I thought about a few aspects in more depth, I would say. So yeah. And after I finished refining the composition and everything, I started the painting process. And well, at first I laid out my paints, which I want to use. I pretty much just went for primary colors and such. And for brushes I used bigger brushes because, well, in the exam you only have a limited amount of time and you have to paint a lot, and the more I would say that the bigger rough brushes give the painting a nice texture and you can do really funny things with them. So that's sort of what I went for, and I think it worked out pretty well. I started painting by painting water, and well, I didn't really had some sort of plan for it. I just sort of just went with it, and so I started with water, and then I added the island, which is sort of like hidden in the mist of the morning, and I somewhat just jumped in between. I first did the water, then the island, then the sky, and then I jumped back to the water. So there isn't a real structure to it because you always can go back to some parts of the painting that you're not quite happy with, and you can always make some touch-ups, which is like the beauty of painting. And in the end, I started with the boat in the corner, and that's pretty much what I did. Well, I wish you a lot of fun with this time lapse. come to the underside of my bed. I think this is quite practical for hanging this thing up, so I did it. Yeah. Well, right now would be the time for me to write a conclusion in the exam, and I will do this just orally right now. I think it took me about 2 hours to paint this. However, I did not pay close attention on the time because I took 2 breaks to eat something. Well, I would do that differently the next time. I would pay closer attention on the time so you really know what you're getting into. And, well, however, apart from that, I'm very pleased with the process of planning. I'm very happy about that. And for the painting itself, I would say because in the conclusion I have to explain what I'm happy with and what I'm not so happy with, what I could have done better, or what is quite moderately done. I would pay close attention on the background and especially the sky and the sea, that it's more transparent and not as opaque, if that's the right word, because it would suit the atmosphere and my intended feeling, the intended thing I had for this piece. It would help it a little bit, because the background or the island and the morning rising sun are supposed to be far away from the figure and also the viewer, which, well, it's quite okay. I'm not happy with it. I'm not mad with it. I'm quite happy. But that's something I would have done or would have paid close attention to. Furthermore, I would have paid close attention on painting the dude the right size, because initially, also in sketch, I wanted to make him bigger so that the head starts about here and he takes up about this space of the painting, which I sort of noticed that while I was already done with this dude, so I couldn't really, I could have changed it, but I didn't want to, because you kind of have to roll with it, what you do, because you only have, if you want to change something during the exam, you have to do it really precisely and you have to be sure about it, otherwise you will just waste time. Well, but overall I'm quite happy with it. I feel prepared for the exam tomorrow, so I think the purpose was purposefully accomplished. Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. I plan on doing a little, not a series, but like a format where I do sketch something out of my mind, just randomly, about things I think, and then I will also talk about the things I think, because I think that some of the things I think about are quite worthy to think about. Yeah. So if you want to see that, would be cool. I plan on doing that because I think it's quite cool. Yeah, I think I'm doing that. Well, thank you.